Nicole said, I want to thank you all very much for coming out tonight. I know with this weather, it can be difficult to leave the house, but thank you for making that. I'm glad there is a break in the rain for this really important project. My name is Jacob Leon. I'm with KTUA, and I'm joined by my incredible team, Nicole and Madeline, who are integral to this planning process. And we were selected to help you all with your Parks and Recreation Master Plan. KTUA, we are a planning and landscape architecture firm. We're located and headquartered in San Diego, but our project and our work take us all over the state of California, as well as Colorado and Arizona. So this is something we're very passionate about, and we love helping communities figure out and plan what are the priorities when it comes to parks and recreation, trails, and we even do transportation planning like walking and biking. Anything that's outdoors, making things safer, more comfortable, and improving equity and access to the community is what we're passionate about. So for tonight, you are here at our very first workshop, or the first of many other touch points with the community for this planning process. I'm going to walk you through a short presentation to give you all some basic information, some background, explain a little bit of what's behind you, and talk about next steps. What can you look forward to over the next 9 to 11 months that KTUA and the team here at City of La Verne will be working on. So again, thank you so much. And I hope we have a good conversations during the open house portion of tonight's workshop. So again, I'm going to talk to you about 10, 12 minutes, 15 minutes max. And then we're going to be able to get up, and our team and everybody will be able to look at the exhibits, work on the post-its, the markers. We want you to mark up the maps, leave as many comments as you'd like. And of course, with those of you that are online, you have an opportunity to learn about this project and of course, reach out to us in the near future about what you heard today and what kind of feedback you want to share with us online as well. So thank you for hanging in there. This is a team effort between ourselves, the City of La Verne, but of course we have two more team members that I want to point out, 110% and Pros Consulting. They help round out everything. We're going to learn and discuss financial elements of Parks and Recreation. We're going to look at your programs and your services. We're going to be looking at your maintenance and operations. Everything comes together, right, to make sure a city has a successful, beautiful, efficiently run Parks and Recreation department. So this entire team here was brought together to make sure that we have a successful project later on. So for those of you who may be a little new to Parks and Recreation planning, I want to go over four bullet points. It's meant to be comprehensive. These kinds of plans only take place about every 8 to 12 years. On average, every 10 years, a city does a master plan like this. So we want to make sure that we're comprehensive and that we look at everything in between short, mid, and long-term priorities. We want to make sure that we walk away at the end of the day, providing you all and your city and your staff clear sets of goals, right? So they can figure out, with every year competing priorities, how can we make sure that this is a healthy department and that your community gets, the most benefit out of it. So that'll be our commitment to you all to help you get there with those goals. And then, of course, just like today, we can never do any of this kind of work without community engagement. So the scope of work, we're going to be out here multiple times in your community for workshops like this. We're going to go out into the field, go to like the fireworks celebration on 4th of July. We're going to be meeting with youth groups, with the seniors, with the sports organizations. We're going to be comprehensive. So they're going to see us out here all year long. This is really important because communities evolve, right? Demographics change. So we want to make sure that we're taking a snapshot of what's happening today, but also trying to project out into the future over the next, again, 5, 10 years. How do we maintain a sustainable, healthy Parks and Recreation department? And I know you all know very well how important access to recreation and open spaces and trails are. So that's part of it, right? It's part of the overall mental health and physical well-being of everybody. It's a really important department within a city. And it's an exciting time for us to look and assess and plan for its future. And really the outcome of this is to make sure that we're trying to improve everybody's quality of life here in La Verne. You have a beautiful tree canopy, you have beautiful nearby open spaces, you have a great set of parks right now. Let's keep them that way, and let's find the room for improvement to, again, make things better whenever possible. So the project timeline is pretty straightforward. We're going to do analysis. We're going to review what's on the ground today. We're going to do engagement. We're going to do a very thorough, what we call park level of service, that's going to be objective with data and then balance it out with a lot of the commentary that we get from the community through all the engagement. We're going to look at, as I mentioned, financial, maintenance, operations, any general plan recommendations, that sort of thing. And by the time we get to step 4, we'll have recommendations in this report, this plan, that your city will be able to use right into the near future. And I know it sounds cliche, but we try our best to make sure that this kind of plan doesn't stay on the shelf. We want to make sure that Nicole Houston and Yvonne and everybody else is actively writing in it, putting post-its, scanning it, and being it put to work. Okay. Again, that is our commitment to you all, to give you a useful plan that can be used for the next 10 years. So some maps, we're going to get nerdy for a little bit. I just want to show you some data, some quick maps. And again, during the open house, we're going to talk a little bit more. But we just wanted to provide you just a little bit more overview of what we're doing so far with existing conditions. So we're going to look at all 19 of your parks, right, and your facilities, which equate to about 100 acres of open space and parks within your city. Wonderful. We're going to compare this to trends, to how other communities are doing, and we're going to give you again like a snapshot of how you're doing, and then we're going to find what are there gaps, are there opportunities. But you have 19 parks, you have some HOAs with some private parks, so we're acknowledging all of those. We have some of that open space, of course, as well. It's really fun for us to kind of put everything together and really take a deep dive. Our team has already had an opportunity to come out and do field work. So our team visited all of your parks. We have a fancy app on our phone that we use to track and literally put points on every playground, every picnic shelter, every basketball court. And we were taking lots and lots of pictures to understand what are the conditions right now. Are they good? Are they bad? Do they need replacing soon? We're capturing all that data. It's part of that objective analysis that we're doing. So just these are some pictures. We took probably over 100 pictures, right, Nicole, with during our field work. It's good, right, to understand and help educate people how all your different parks are doing. So we had a good time out here getting that data and really witnessing, the conditions, the variety or lack of in certain areas, right? So we'll be revisiting this. Every time we come out, we'll probably go back to a park or an open space, reassess something. But again, with every trip we make out here, we're going to make the most of it and go back and see some of these parks that you have here. This table and this term is really, really important when it comes to park and recreation planning. This is a standard phrase and philosophy and analysis that park planners like ourselves do. Park level of service is how is your city doing based on how many acres do you have, based on a goal that was set in your general plan. And then once you crunch some math and do some math, you basically get a score of how you're doing. So let me break this down for you, right? We take the park acreage, about 100, 120 acres, right, that you have here. We take the recommended adopted standard, which in your general plan says, let's make sure we have 4 acres for every 1,000 residents of La Verne. That's what the 4 is, I'm saying right there. So we do the math and we're able to figure out what is your acre for every 1,000 when you compare it to that goal of 4 per 1,000. You are doing, I'm not just saying this to say it, you're doing phenomenally. The fact that you're at 3.7, the fact that you're above 2 acres per 1,000 compared to all of your other neighbors in Southern California is really wonderful. So I'm glad that there was some good planning back decades and decades ago to make sure that there were parks and things available to your community. Of course, there's always room for improvement, right? To have the perfect score of 4 per 1,000, you're looking at, if possible, let's add 38 more acres. This is just a guideline, right? It's just a number to assess how you're doing. But I do want to say we've worked on dozens and dozens of parks and rec master plans. This is one of the highest numbers we've seen in Southern California. So congratulations. But there's always room for improvement. But yes, absolutely, applause your previous planners and directors, and let's see, if possible, what can we do to make some improvements? Probably within your parks. I know open space or availability of land is really difficult in Southern California, right? So we might be limited, but it doesn't mean we can't get creative with some of your existing parks and adding things. We also purposely want to plan for the future. Again, this is a 10-year plan. So we want to look at your projected population growth, that in 2035, we're looking at just a small increase, right? We have about 31,000 people living in La Verne. You're expected to grow just slightly to about 32,000, round number, using Southern California Association of Governments data, to about 32,000 people. Your numbers, you can see they're not changing much. So that's good. You're not expecting a huge population growth. If you were, then we'd be in a much different circumstance of where do we find more park space. A lot of your neighbors and your family members who probably live in other parts of California are seeing much more drastic changes in population growth. It's pretty steady here, meaning the numbers are pretty good. They're holding tight. So that's really good news. And so next, I'm just going to show you a couple of some maps. A lot of the maps I see back there, I just picked a handful up here to explain. Travel shed is a jargon that we use. It's another nerdy word that we have in park planning, but it's basically trying to understand what is the geographic accessibility of parks from a person's home or a person's center of employment. So it's trying to visualize and understand, is there good coverage in your city, or are there gaps? That's what travel shed analysis does. And I know on the screen it's a little washed out because of the lights, but we have these maps behind you during the open house portion. But what the green outline is, this swiggly green outline that you're seeing, the green outline, that's the coverage. That's that half-mile distance from the parks out. You have very good coverage. You only have some gaps, right, in the city. But we purposely, and you may or may not have noticed the orange layer that also turned on, that's your residential land use. Because some cities may have some industrial areas, right, or some other land uses. We want to understand where people living and compare that to park access. So when you turn that on, still this is wonderful coverage, but there are some areas room for improvement. These orange circles that we purposely highlighted are things we're going to keep an eye out over the next couple of months as we're looking at potential recommendations, okay? We can do all kinds of analysis, but for standard purposes, we take playgrounds. So with that field work that we did, we took every park that has a playground and we created these maps again. The map changes, right? For the most part, all of your parks typically have playgrounds, so you have good coverage there. But we look at sports, like think basketball, baseball, softball. The map changes because not every park is either big enough or has a field. Again, it's for illustration purposes only, it's to help us understand, are there gaps, is there good coverage? And then lastly, we did one for aquatic or indoor facilities like community center, pools, that sort of thing. And of course, the map is also very different since we don't have buildings and facilities in every corner of La Verne. So these are really helpful maps that we use in our existing conditions analysis. And we're more than happy to talk to you about them during the open house portion over here, because they do shed a lot of good information as to how the city's doing. So to end the presentation, our team just wanted to walk you through our next steps. So we want to let you know that today's feedback is really important. We're going to summarize it and we're going to use and build on it. We have lots of focus groups lined up. Nicole from the city has been helping us schedule, as I mentioned, with the sports groups, with the seniors, with the youth. We have, elected officials will be interviewed. We want to make sure we're comprehensive. We're also going to be releasing a survey that's going to be hitting mailboxes very soon. We have something called a statistically valid survey that's going to go out to your community. So 5,000, Nicole, yes? 5,000 randomly selected addresses are going to go out first, and then we're going to capture that data, and then we're going to open it up to everybody else in La Verne. So we'll do a big social media blast, let everybody know, go take the survey. This is going to give us a lot of really good information. We're going to have a bunch of great opportunities in the summer to come out and join you at some of your summer events that are happening. I think aquatic signups, 4th of July, I think music in the park, that sort of thing. So we'll be out there with a pop-up booth, with posters, talking with the community. And then we're going to summarize things, and we're going to come back in the fall where we're going to do our big final workshop where we present the draft recommendations. And you can let us know, hey, Jacob, you're on the right track, or like, hey, Jacob, you forgot about this. Make sure you include this in the final. So that'll be in the fall, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, some of the things that are already locked in for the public include the 4th of July event. So we're excited to be out here that Friday. Our team will be here talking about opportunities, right, and gaps and that sort of thing. And then we'll be back shortly after that in August for on Sunday the 10th for that concert that's taking place. So again, I do want to thank you for wanting to be involved with this project. We have a website that the city developed for this. So cityoflaverne.org/PRMP, Parks Rec Master Plan. Yeah, and we'll make sure this is, there we go. We're going to be active on social media, letting people know about everything, of course. And then keep an eye out later this month. The surveys will be hitting the mailboxes. We just approved those, and they'll be ready to go. And we do have 3 gift cards. Yes, 3 gift cards for randomly selected. So we'll put them in a drawing to incentivize and encourage people to take the survey. So you might be a lucky winner. Who knows? But for today, please, please, please stay as long as you want. It is an open house, but so you can go whenever you feel you've shared everything you wanted to share. But stay as long as you want. Write it down. Don't be afraid to grab a Post-it or a marker. If you didn't write it down, you never said it. It just went into the air and it never was said. So please grab a marker, grab a Post-it, write up the. We have aerials of all the parks, so look for a specific park. Give us your feedback. We have a voting exercise on amenities. We have the maps. We have questions about programs and services broken up by age groups. So please engage with whatever you feel you want to engage with. But we wanted to give you all a diverse, versatile set of information here for you all to review. And we're going to scan everything and we're going to record it all. And it'll be part of an appendix item for the report once that's all done later this year. So on behalf of the entire team and Nicole Houston, who's helping manage this project on behalf of the city, we want to thank you for coming out tonight. And I hope that you learned something today and that you'll see your information reported back to you over the summer and in the fall by participating. So thank you very much. I'm going to check the Zoom chat real quick to see if there's any general question. I will take one or two general questions right now, but we really just want to encourage everybody to get up and go to the back of the room to provide comments. So give me 1 second. Let me just check the chat over here. I see no raised hands or questions. So for those of you who are online, thank you so much. We've recorded this meeting. It's going to be made available online, but thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We'll be in touch with you all soon, and I'll go ahead and close the Zoom meeting right now. We'll talk to you soon.